Hello students, this is Harveer, your English teacher. Hope you people are well. Students, today we are going to discuss the chapter The Necklace from your book Footprints Without Feet. This chapter is written by Henri René Albert Guy de Maupassant. He was a 19th century French author, remembered as a master of the short story form and a representative of the naturalist school, who depicted human lives and destinies and social forces in disillusioned and often pessimistic terms. The story, The Necklace, teaches us a very important lesson. It teaches us to be happy with what we have and what we are, and not to be selfish and expect too many things. So, in the story, there is a lady who was born in a middle class family, but she wanted to lead a life of high society, and she would do anything to get that. And what all she did and what happened to her is the part of the story. So let's get on to the story. She was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny into a family of clerks. So, the lady we are talking about is a very young lady. She is very pretty, and it as if by mistake she was born in the family of clerks. That means she was born into the middle class family. She was not a rich lady. She was just a normal girl. She had no dowry. Dowry mean the parental property that the bride brings with her to her in-laws. So she had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known, loved, and married by a man either rich or distinguished, and she allowed herself to marry a petty clerk in the office of the board education. She was simple, but she was unhappy. So her family did not have any means to arrange dowry for her marriage. She did not have any other means by which she could befriend a rich man to be loved or married to him. So, due to these circumstances, she had to marry a clerk in the office of the Board of Education, and because of this, she was unhappy. She suffered incessantly, feeling herself born for all delicacies and luxuries. So, incessantly mean constantly. She suffered from the poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls, shabby mean in poor condition, and the worn chairs, broken chairs. All these things tortured and angered her. She used to think that destiny was unfair to her and that she deserved much better than what she had got. She used to get angry and was tortured by the condition of her apartment. The dirty walls and the torn furniture used to irritate her. When she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the tureen, what is tureen? Tureen is a deep covered dish from which soup is served, with a delighted air, saying, "Oh, the good pot pie." So, pot pie is a savory pie baked in a deep dish. I know nothing better than that. She would think of elegant dinners, graceful dinners. Elegant mean graceful, of shining silver. She thought of the exquisite food. Exquisite mean extremely beautiful and very delicious, served in marvelous dishes. And she had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing, and she loved only those things. So, whenever Mr. Loisel, Matilda's husband, used to praise homemade food served in a simple dish, then Matilda used to think about elegant dinners being served in marvelous dishes. She did not have fancy jewels or good dresses, and these are the things that she loved. She wanted to enjoy luxurious life. She wanted to be a rich lady. She had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, who she did not like to visit. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days from despair and disappointment. So Matilda had a school friend whom she did not like to meet, as she was a rich lady, and after meeting her, she used to cry for days together, looking at the conditions of her life. Means she used to compare her life with the life of her rich friend. That's why she did not like to visit her. One evening, her husband returned, elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. Here, he said, here is something for you. So, what happened? One day, her husband came back home from work in a happy mood and he was holding an envelope in his hand. He informed his wife that the envelope was for her and asked her to open it. She quickly drew out printed card on which were inscribed these words: "The Minister of Public Instruction and Madame George Ramponneau ask the honour of Mr. and Madame Loisel's company Monday evening, January 18, at the Minister's residence." Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation spitefully upon the table, murmuring, "What do you suppose I want with that?" So what happened? Madame Loisel, she quickly pulled out the printed card as she was excited to know what it was about. So it was an invitation from the minister. The couple had been invited to a dinner party at the house of the Minister of Public Instruction. So her husband thought that her wife, Matilda's husband, Mr. Loisel, thought that her wife would be very happy after getting this invitation, but to his surprise, she got really angry and threw the card while murmuring something. She asked her husband what did he want her to do with this card. "But my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion, and a fine one. Everybody wishes one, and it is very select. Not many are given to employees. You will see the whole official world there." So, Mr. Loisel, her husband, replied that he had thought that she would be happy as she never went out, and this was a rare occasion to which not many employees were invited. Mr. Loisel was among those few employees who had been invited for this occasion, for this party. He also told her that she would be meeting a lot of people from his office there. She looked at him with an irritated eye and declared impatiently, "What do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that?" Then Matilda asked him what could she wear to such a grand party, as according to her she was not having that beautiful dresses that she could wear on that party, as in that party very famous or rich people would be there. He had not thought of that. He stammered, "Why, the dress you wear when we go to the theatre? It seems very pretty to me." He was silent, stupefied, in dismay at the sight of his wife weeping. He stammered, "What is the matter? What is the matter?" He stammered, as he had not thought of that. He first asked her to wear the dress that she wore when they went out for movies. But then, as she was weeping, he asked her about the matter. The word stupefied mean to make or to think or feel properly. Okay, and dismay mean distress caused by something unexpected. As Mr. Loisel did not expect that her wife would be saying this, so he was not able to think, he was not able to feel properly at that time. Violent effort, she had controlled her vexation. Vexation is frustration. Okay, and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks. "Nothing. I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I." So, when Matilda's husband asked her about the matter, she wiped her tears from her wet cheeks and replied in a calm manner that she could not be a part of such grand affair or grand party, and she asked him, or she requested him, to give away the card to some other colleague whose wife was better than her, whose wife had beautiful clothes than her, or whose wife could afford beautiful clothes than Matilda. He was grieved but answered. Grieved means sad. "Let us see, Matilda, how much would a suitable costume cost? Something that would serve for other occasions, something very simple." So, what happened now? Mr. Loisel felt very bad for his wife as he saw her crying and asked her the cost of a simple dress that could be worn by her on other occasions as well. She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing with it an immediate refusal and a frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. Finally, she said in a hesitating voice, I cannot tell you exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it. Reflect mean to think over. So Matilda thought of an amount that would neither be refused by her husband, and nor scare the poor clerk. The poor clerk, she is saying to her husband, she is referring to her husband. Then she said that she would be able to manage a dress in 400 francs. Francs is a currency. He turned a little pale, for he had saved just this sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer with some friends who went to shoot larks on Sunday. Larks is a bird. Nevertheless, he answered, very well, I'll give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress. So, what happened? Mr. Loisel, Matilda's husband, was reluctant as he had saved only that much money, that much mean 400 francs, to buy a gun for himself so that he could join the hunting parties next summer along with his friends. But he told his wife that he would give her the money and asked her to buy a good dress. So the day of the ball approached. Ball mean party here, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, disturbed, anxious. Anxious mean nervous. Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, "What is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days." So now the day was approaching, and Matilda was still not fine. She was still not happy, even though her dress was almost ready. One day her husband asked her again that why had she been acting strangely for the past few days? And she responded, I am vexed not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself with. I shall have such a poverty stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party. Vexed mean frustrated. So when her husband asked her about the matter, that why she had been acted so strangely for the past few days, then Matilda replied that although she had the dress, she did not have any kind of jewelry or anything else to make herself look even more attractive. She also added that without any jewelry, she would look like a poor person in such a big party. She again said that she would rather prefer not going to the party, and to this her husband replied that she could wear some natural flowers over the dress as they looked very nice, really nice and attractive. Chic means stylishly fashionable, so her husband told her to wear some natural flowers. She was not convinced. No, she replied, there is nothing more humiliating mean insulting, than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. Then her husband cried out, how stupid we are! Go and find your friend, Madame Forestier, and ask her to lend you her jewels. So we know that what kind of this lady Matilda was. She wanted to resemble the rich ladies. So she replied that she could not, as it looked really cheap and party of rich people. Then her husband again suggested that she could go to her friend Madame Forestier. So this is the friend of this Matilda, who was very rich, and ask her to lend some jewelry. She uttered a cry of joy. It is true, she said. I had not thought of that. The next day she took herself to her friend's house and related her story of distress, of her sadness. Madame Forestier went to her closet, mean cupboard, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it, and said, choose, my dear. She saw at first some bracelets, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold, and jewels of admirable workmanship. She tried the jewels before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them nor leave them. Then she asked, Have you and nothing more? Why? Yes, look for yourself. I do not know what will please you. So, what happened when Matilda's husband, Mr. Loisel, told her or suggested Matilda to go to her friend and asked to lend her jewelry, then Matilda became very happy as she did not think of this idea. She went to Madame Forestier's house. Madame Forestier is her friend. So Matilda went to her friend's house the next day and said that she was stressed about the party and the jewelry. So Madame Forestier, she was very kind. Then she went to her closet, mean that cupboard, and brought out her jewel box. Madame Forestier asked her to choose for herself whatever she wanted. So Matilda first saw some bracelets, then some pearl collars, and then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels. She was not able to decide what to take and what to leave. So she asked Madame Forestier if she have anything else that she could wear. To this, Madame Forestier replied that she could herself take a look and choose something suitable. Suddenly, she discovered in a black satin box a superb necklace of diamonds. Her hands trembled as she took it out. She placed it about her throat against her dress and was ecstatic. Then she asked in a hesitating voice full of anxiety, "Could you lend me this? Only this?" "Why, yes, certainly." Then Matilda saw a superb, very beautiful diamond necklace that was kept in a black satin box. Satin is a cloth. She took it out with her trembling hands and wore it. So now Matilda wore that necklace. She was very happy. Ecstatic mean overjoyed. She was overjoyed with the necklace as it looked very beautiful. So she asked her friend. She was very nervous, anxious while asking from her friend as it was a diamond necklace. So Matilda asked her friend if she could lend her the diamond necklace, and Madame Forestier consented to it. She said yes. She fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with passion, then went away with her treasure. The day of the ball arrived. Ma'am Loisel was a great success. She was the prettiest of all, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of joy. All the men noticed her, asked her name, and wanted to be presented. So Matilda hugged her friend with affection and left for her house. Then the day of the party arrived, and Madame Loisel was appreciated as she was the prettiest, most elegant, most beautiful, and gracious of all the ladies present over there. She was very happy and full of joy as all the men were noticing her. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure, thinking of nothing but all this admiration, this victory so complete and sweet to her heart. So, Matilda, as I told you, she was very happy as each and everyone was noticing her. She was full of enthusiasm and pleasure, and she was very happy with all the attention she had gained. She was dancing in enthusiastic manner. She went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband had been half asleep in one of the little saloons since midnight, with three other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. So, what happened? The couple, Matilda and her husband, they left the party at 4 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Loisel, Matilda's husband, had already slept at 12 o'clock in one of the halls with three other men whose wives were also enjoying the party. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps that they had carried, whose poverty clashed with the elegance of the ball costume. Ball is party, as I told you, in costume, the dress that Matilda was wearing on that party. She wished to hurry away in order not to be noticed by the other women, who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. So Matilda's husband, that is Mr. Loisel, threw the wrap, that mean a stall sort of thing, shawl, around her shoulders as they were about to leave. The elegance of the beauty of the party dress was getting ruined, getting destroyed by the wrap, as it was not that much pretty. Matilda wanted to leave the party quickly because she did not want the rich ladies who were wrapping themselves or who had wrapped themselves in rich furs, costly furs, to see her in to see Matilda in a cheap wrap. And this was because she had portrayed herself as a rich lady by wearing the new dress and the diamond necklace. Loisel detained her. "Wait," said he, "I'm going to call a cab." But she would not listen and descended the steps rapidly. When they were in the street, they found no carriage, and they began to seek for one, hailing the coachman whom they saw at a distance. So, what happened then? Mr. Loisel asked her to wait as he was calling a cab, but she was in a hurry and quickly went down the stairs. She did not want to be noticed. As they got on the street, they were looking for a carriage which could take them home, but could not find one. Then they saw a coachman at a distance, and they started calling him. They walked along toward the river, hopeless and shivering. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in Paris after nightfall. They kept walking together towards the river, and finally they were able to find a carriage, the kind one finds in Paris at dusk time. It took them as far as their doors, and they went wearily mean exhausted, mean tired, up to their apartment. It was all over for her, and on his part he remembered that he would have to be at the office by 10 o'clock. She removed the wraps from her shoulders before the glass for a final view of herself in her glory. Suddenly she uttered a cry. Her necklace was not around her neck. So the carriage took them to their home, and they both went up. By then they were extremely tired. The enthusiasm and fun for Madame Loisel had ended by then. Mr. Loisel also remembered that he had to reach his office by 10 in the morning. So, as Matilda stood in front of the mirror and removed the wrap, as she wanted to see herself one last time in the beautiful dress and necklace, she cried because the necklace was missing. It was not on her neck. So, students, I hope you got this, as it was the first part of the chapter, the necklace, and we'll continue the rest of the chapter in the second part, and we'll get to know what happened next. So, thank you.